Well, you guys clearly like the last two, so part 3 it is. Final Wars Godzilla, the Earth's ultimate weapon and the strongest kaiju in the universe. And Showa Godzilla, the first and true king of the monsters, the OG. These were commonly pinned against each other due to how similar they are when it comes to agility and fighting skills. Now again, like Monsters and Heisei, we're going to do things a little bit differently. Rather than throwing them into a ring together, we're going to see who would last longer if they swapped fights. In today's video, we'll be answering, can Final Wars Godzilla survive the Showa era, or will he die along the way? Most importantly are the rules. Firstly, Final Wars will be the size that he is on film, that being 100 meters tall, while the Showa Kaiju will be staying at their height that they are on film. Secondly, we will not be having him go into his Kaiser form, since that needs a mutant to be there to give him Kaiser energy, so can't do that. Finally, the part you guys want to hear most. Who will he be fighting? The bracket Final Wars have to climb through is King Kong, Kumanga, Gigan, Megalon, Mechagodzilla, Hedorah, and finally, King Ghidorah. Now before we dive headfirst into this, how strong is Final Wars Godzilla? Well, let's quickly go over his stats. Starting with his strength. His best feat of strength is when he was able to pick up and throw Kumanga over a mountain. In Final Wars, Kumanga weighs a total of 30,000 metric tons. Before all the comments come flying in, I know, he lifts Kaiser Ghidorah. Yes, that's impressive given he weighs 100,000 metric tons. There's one issue, he did that when he was Kaiser amped, so it's unusable. Sorry. Except his speed. Though there is no official speed for him, the popular fan-given speed is 90 miles an hour, so we're just going to use that. Next up, he has average durability. Now before you guys type, well, no kaiju damaged him until Gigan and Monster X, keep in mind they're the same kaiju that died to a power line or the Sydney Opera House. Oh, they just aren't that strong in the first place. And finally, his atomic breath. Now while it's normal in strength heat-wise, the punch is much more impressive. Now while we don't know how much the Exilium mothership weighs, it's most likely upward of around 1,000,000 tons, given how large it is. And we see in the movie that when Final Wars' beam hits it, it moves it back quite noticeably. That's about all you need to know for Final Wars, so let's hop in. Starting with King Kong. Don't underestimate him. He was able to lift the 20,000 metric tons Godzilla. Yeah, he gets one shot. Well, next up, Kumanga. One of the earliest kaiju to single-handedly pack up Godzilla. So how does she hold up? Yeah, she also gets one shot. Now we're getting somewhere. The space chicken, Gigan. And I'm just gonna say this now, this is close. Now Final Wars will struggle with Gigan for a few reasons. Those being Gigan's speed, claws, and chest saw. Godzilla will have to really rely on his beam for this fight, since he really has no good way on grabbing onto Gigan due to the fact that he's just covered in spikes. Not only does Godzilla have to use his beam the whole time, but he also has to look out for Gigan's chest saw, since as we see, it's sharp enough to cut deep into Showa Godzilla. Thankfully though, this Gigan doesn't really have many range attacks like his Final Wars counterpart does.
Godzilla guy on his phone while editing. Showa Gigan doesn't have a beam. You heard me right. Other than poster material, not once, not a single time does Gigan show a beam. And if you're like, well, he still has one. If he did, sure. We don't know how strong it is though, so the argument falls apart. 2, poster material doesn't really mean much, given, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, where there's a completely different Mechagodzilla in that poster. And in one of the Megalon ones, he has like a smoke ring breath, so food for thought. Kind of disregard what I'm about to say in the video. Enjoy. Continue.
All he can really rely on is his beam, and like we said, Final Wars will pretty much just be using that. So he can most likely counter beam and then also block Gigan's only range attack. So though he would be bloodied and tired, Final Wars will move on. Also off script, I love how fast it goes from, like one-shotting to bloodied and tired. The Showa era just really does get strong really fast. Next up, the Guardian of Mu, my beloved Megalon. Now firstly, yes, I think Megalon folds Gigan. I'll make a video discussing that someday. Now Final Wars already had a hard time fighting Gigan due to his speed, but he will be suffering with Megalon, thanks to his speed and agility. For those who are lost, let me happily explain why Megalon is the best kaiju when it comes to movement. Megalon can fly and burrow at Mach 3, swim at Mach 4, make 10-kilometer leaps, and can surf on air. And thankfully, he isn't just limited to one range attack like Gigan, since Megalon has his beam and his napalm bullets. He also has a lot of other abilities like radar and eyesight that 100 times that of a human. He can also produce winds that can push back upwards of 90,000 metric tons, which is almost twice as much needed to send Final Wars tumbling backwards. And for other info, make sure to go watch my video I made on Megalon's strength a while back. Now me personally, I think Megalon wins with around mid difficulty due to, Final Wars not being able to do anything against him. But given how short this video already is, let's say somehow Final Wars moves on, though he wouldn't. Next up is the most advanced piece of technology in the universe, I see. Sorry about that, everybody. My producer is saying that the most advanced piece of technology in the universe is actually the Divoom 64. Here in front of you today is the Divoom Pixo 64. Now, what is the Pixo 64, you might be asking? The Divoom Pixo 64 is a Wi-Fi controlled 64 by 64 LED custom light panel. In the box, we of course have the light panel, a charger, and ooh, candy. Don't nicely eat this, guys. The full assembly is very simple. Just plug in the cable into the panel. Now, the actual setup part is relatively easy. All you have to do is make an account and connect to your Divoom device. Now, depending on what product you purchase, it can vary on how the setup goes. The 64 here connects via Wi-Fi, while others like the Pixel Mac connect via Bluetooth. The app itself has many fun features, like hundreds of pre-made display choices. But, you know, I'm the Godzilla guy, so of course I'm gonna go with Godzilla. There are so many different things to choose from. But if for some reason you still can't find something you like, don't worry, because you can make your own pictures and animations. I even went ahead and made my own animation using the pictures from the Guy series. Make sure to check out the first link down below. Grab your own for yourself or someone special. Valentine is coming up. Thank you, Divoom, so much for sponsoring this video, and let's carry on. Back to what we were saying, Showa Mechagodzilla. And yeah, Final Wars is getting packed up fast. Though only being half his size, Showa Mecha is one of the most powerful mechas, and can even contend with Kaiser Ghidorah. Between his barrier that deflects beams and physical attacks, and his array of rockets and beams, he will slice up Final Wars Godzilla in a matter of seconds. And there you go, Final Wars Godzilla in the Showa era. Off topic, while doing these videos, I figured out that Gigan is apparently 10 meters taller than Megalon, which I'll have a picture on screen. Doesn't look accurate at all. I'm lost. Anyway, I hope to see you guys next week, because next week we will be settling one of the largest debates of all time. Kaiser Ghidorah versus Destroya. Happy 2024, everybody. As always, keep collecting. Godzilla Guy out. See ya.